Well, a very happy Friday to everyone here. Welcome back into the studios of the Jay and Trey podcast. You guys are watching us live through the StreamYard studios. I am Justin. We got a 2-hour episode here for you guys this morning, taking you guys up until noon. Our show is given to you, and thank you to StreamYard.com. Create your podcast, YouTube videos, virtual business meetings, and interviews all at StreamYard.com. Head on over to StreamYard.com and try out their free version today. Also like to give a shout out to Place It by Envato. Create your mockups, logos, and videos through Place It. Placeit.net is where to go. Last but not least, like to give a shout out to Epidemic Sound. If you want royalty-free music, discover your world-class artists, composers, and bands. Find your perfect soundtrack and give your social media accounts the music they deserve. epidemicsound.com for more information. All right, 2 hours ready for you guys today. Let's not waste any more time. The Jay and Trey podcast starts next. Well, a very, very happy Friday to everyone here. I'm Justin. This is the Jay and Trey podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We got very impactful 2-hour episodes for you, taking you all around the world of sports. We're going to stop in baseball, give you some Reds updates as they begin their spring training today. Also give you take a look into some NFL highlight news coming up as well. Give you an update on the Ncaa Round 1 basketball tournament as some upsets have already made ways. Gosh, poor Kentucky. And then we'll talk some wrestling, kind of break some of the stories down, talk a little bit about the Jeff Hardy returning to ring action back on Dynamite. Get you guys talk a little bit about the Raw tag team titles, as well as we'll kind of get you guys ready for SmackDown. And I mean, we have a few questions to ask, and I'll ask those questions and we'll get them underway. Well, it's a very beautiful day out. I tell you that. Woke up pretty early this morning. I was excited. Got up, got a couple of things done, and it kind of feels like a good day to a good week, and hopefully that's to bring it all together. Well, listen, it's kind of a hard first few days getting into the week, but I would like to take this time and bring in the co-host of the show and welcome in and say good morning to to Trey. Trey, good morning to you. How are you doing, young lad? It's been a long week. I'll tell you that.
Good morning to you. Didn't want to get up out of bed, so I started drinking and chugging me a bottle of root beer with some caffeine in it. So I obviously can't have coffee right now, so I'll have something.
Yeah, I literally really try to stay away from any carbonated soda early in the morning. One of my routines in the morning is waking up and drinking a whole 8-ounce bottle of water. So that's usually kind of like here's my routine. And then, then I start my day kind of. But yeah, I mean, it's the epiphany of actually the way that you feel today is kind of the epiphany of the entire week. I mean, it's unfortunate. We started off with the unfortunate news about Scott Hall passing away, and then then the Reds on this, started trading everybody. They got rid of Sonny Gray back on Sunday. They traded Eugenio Suarez. They traded Jesse Winker, and for a moment it was like, okay, well, where are the Reds headed to? I mean, they a lot of people came out on Wednesday, or back on Tuesday and Wednesday, they started ranting a lot about, hey, the Reds are trying to sell the team, kind of get rid of all the good players. There's no point in going to the games. You consider Cincinnati Reds and the history behind Cincinnati, one of the greatest ball clubs in history. It should be a team that wants to win. You think about this, a Reds team who won 83 games last season, went up until about a week prior to the season ending before they got eliminated from the playoffs. And then, and with this new format, this 12-team format now, where it allows a team like Cincinnati, so that now there's 6 teams in every playoffs. There's going to be one in each division, and then the top 2 wild card teams, which the Cincinnati Reds, they came into second place in the in that wild card position. So there's going to be 3 wild card teams. There are going to be 3 divisional teams. So, there's going to be a lot of changes, and the Reds were right there in the mix. And, they started getting rid of a guy like Jesse Winker, who had a decent career. But as I mentioned back on earlier this week, getting rid of Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman, it was a must. He just didn't live up to his potential. He was batting 198. And you got to at least be able to hit your weight, on base percentage, all that good stuff. And so they went out and they traded not yesterday, back on Wednesday. They traded Amir Garrett for Mike Minor. And I've when it broke that down, how Mike Minor is more of a replacement for Sonny Gray. And then they also just picked up yesterday, they just signed a 1-year deal to third baseman Colin Moran. And Colin Moran, he's your third baseman over in Pittsburgh. Really heavy guy. Back in 2021. He didn't have a huge season last year. I think he was injured, but he had 10 hits off of 36 at bats. He was batting .278 with on base percentage of .350, and that's kind of something average. He's 29 years old. Something that you kind of want to, you're trying to find these replacements. Okay, well, who do you have as a third baseman? Colin Moran is a good third baseman to be replaced. You think about what the Reds are going to have to do this season to get back to 83 wins. Well, they already dumped some of the guys, right? Well, you got to find replacements. And I'm not saying you got to, spend 10, 20, $30 million on these guys, but you got to find, the replacements for these guys. Outfield, I feel, is really solid. It's as solid as it's gonna get, but they do need some help in the infield. You also got to consider that instead of pitchers hitting this year, the universal DH is in play. So that means they have to add another person to the bat. So guys like Joey Votto, guys like Mike Moustakas, guys like Aquino or Shogo Akiyama. All of those guys are going to have to be in a rotation of who's going to take the day off playing defense.
Oh.
So as we approach to spring training today, and spring training what happened yesterday, but as we approach, into spring training, as we get ready for April 7th, which is the opening day, right? There's going to be some shoes to fill. And what we're seeing for the first time, and this is just the way I'm looking at things, what we're seeing is that the Reds had to make decisions, and we're seeing it all unfold in 1 week span. Compared that if they had the opportunity to, do all that over a day, over a off season, right?
Yeah.
Then they wouldn't have to. You will see this gradually building.
So when was the last time the Reds went to the
World Series?
World Series, yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't have that date. It's not in my
Has
lifetime.
it been as long as the Bengals went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, the Reds and the Bengals share a very similar history with each other when it comes down to postseason runs as of late. I don't have that information right up in front of me. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, The only thing I do know is that every few years, I know that the Reds were dominant back in the early 2000s to 2010s. And then they had a couple of seasons run, but it's been a good, solid, at least I say 7-8 year drought since they last really made it to the playoffs. Now they made it to the playoffs back in 2020, but that was off of a shortened season, and then they lost to the Miami Marlins.
Oh.
So, I mean, overall, you want to compare them to the Bengals. I feel like the Bengals provide you more exciting, interesting moves. But the Reds, it's more of a marathon instead of a sprint. You think of football and why football is so great. Football is a sprint. You got 18 games. You want to win that year. You don't care about next year. Most teams today will not invest into the long term. They invest into the short term. They buy for now, not for 2 to 3 years. Composed to baseball, a lot of teams buy for the next 4, 5, 6 years. So as you see, remarkable trades, and, even how you and I talked about this last night, and how you're so eager to watch the Bengals get back to the Super Bowl, they're playing for now.
Right.
Well, the Reds, they're trying to balance everything out. So not only they have a team today, but then they could have a winning team for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
No, that's pretty smart looking, forward to the future.
Well, and that's the way baseball works. You see, you got to draft players, you got to draft minors, you got to develop those players. You think about football. Football drafts you either out of college or out of high school, and then you're ready to go. Well, mostly out of college. If you don't make it to the NFL after college, then most likely you're not going to the NFL. All right, so it's high school, college, NFL. That's how the system works. And when you draft from college to the NFL, you only got 55 slots, I believe, available on a NFL roster.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be able to perform at that level with 55 slots. MLB, you have 180 slots. Wow. So you don't necessarily see guys come from high school to MLB, or high school to college level, or high school to minor league level. And then from there, they have to develop you. For example, and I'll just use this as a reference because I know off the top of my head, Mackenzie Gore for the San Diego Padres. He's been a prospect for the Padres for the past, 7 years. But yet again, he was drafted. He was picked up by the Padres when he was like 17 years old. So, there's a whole lot of, you kind of build to work your way up. There's nobody it doesn't matter how good you are. I have never seen anyone get drafted from college or get drafted from high school baseball and go straight to the big leagues the same day. They normally start off in the minors, get a few games, get several at bats, and then they work their way into the majors. You look at Jonathan India, he started off in the minor leagues. Everybody starts off in the minor leagues. And so when you're in football, when you got that 55-man roster, like you said, everyone must be able to play. There's no team banking on losing a season because they want to get, so when it comes down to the NFL, you don't see teams bank, a season at the beginning of the season. You're not the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, maybe you are, depending on how they want to really look at things, but you're not the Jaguars in the game one of the season saying, all right, let's completely AWOL this season so we can get number 1 draft pick next year. Composed to like maybe baseball where, okay, this is where I want to be at by June for the draft season. So let's play terrible. Let's have the first round pick so that we could have ourselves, in 2-3 years contending for the playoffs. So baseball is more of a marathon. It's a long stretch. It's an image of what the season is because it's 162 games, which even probably by your books, that's a lot of games, and that's just a lot of to hold on to. But compared to the 18 sprint that you only got 17 games in the season.
Yeah, 160 something is a lot of games.
It is. But we do take a look. Spring training begins for the Reds today. Now, yesterday, spring training did also begin for other teams, Boston Red Sox. I mean, realistically, spring training is nothing that, unless you're a deeper fan that that looks into, follows, the Reds hardly, then you'll really pay close attention. Here on this show, we will paying attention to it, at least as far as my end. Nick Lodolo will be getting the mound for the Reds today. They're taking on the Tanner Tully for the Guardian, and you're like, who the hell are these players? A lot of them are really going to be minor league. So spring training is more fixated on not only getting your starting pitchers about 3, 4, 5 outings, to get used to things, because spring training is really more for the starting pitchers. All right. You want to get them a couple outings in real life situations to kind of see how they could, pan out and see what you have to have room for adjustment. Right. Well, it works the same way but then for the position players, you want, Joey Votto to get a couple, maybe 150 at bats, so that he can be comfortable going into the season. But a lot of these position players should be ready to go. What you're doing is that there are some final, not only for the pitching purposes, but some of these final slots, like if you just picked up a Colin Moran, right? And you kind of want him to not only get comfortable with Cincinnati Reds baseball, but you kind of also want him to, okay, who is going to be that everyday third baseman? Is Mike Moustakas going to be that guy? Or are we going to be able to get, Colin out there at third and have Mike, be a designated hitter or over at second or at short, So you kind of want to answer those questions. And right now the Reds have some questions or to be answered. They got to figure out, are they satisfied enough with their outfield? Shogo Akiyama, Aquino, Nick Senzel, are they comfortable, or are they still having to go pick up somebody? And then it's a question on the infield. Exactly where are you placing those 4 guys on the infield so that you could, you can ensure yourself a solid season? So there's questions to be answered. Spring training begins today for the Reds at 4:10 p.m. or 4 or 5 p.m. So they'll be playing at Goodyear Ballpark. Is their spring training facility shared with the Cleveland Guardians. It's going to be the Reds on the road, but technically at home.
Oh.
So we'll come back and up to date everyone on that tomorrow. But there's some other games going on today. I mean, other baseball games. The Padres and the Mariners, the Yankees and the Pittsburgh, the Pirates. So it's a full round baseball. All starts off at 1:05. What's nice is that you get most spring training games are day games.
Oh.
So you're going to be able to enjoy okay, so you'll get a 1:05 game, a 4:05 game, and I believe from to late tonight you have a 10 o'clock game tonight, which they start doing some of the nighttime games as well.
So is the spring training like the NFL's preseason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's not it's a schedule. It's not a routine schedule like the regular season is. They're playing about 18 games before April 5th, before the season starts on April 7th.
Gotcha.
So exciting. I'm ready to get baseball underway. I mean, we have a lot more to talk about. We have some NFL conversations to have. All right. We got to talk about the breaking news that happened, I believe yesterday or this morning. What happened? Devontae Adams going to Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes.
Let's also talk about the what's going on in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. And I got a few more stories coming your way. What does that mean? What's going on with Matt Ryan? Where will he be at? That's all still to come. We'll take you guys up until noon time. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys are watching us, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. Get involved in our conversations. You guys can take us on the road with you on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Don't miss a single episode. Also follow us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, all at the Jay and Trey Podcast. Coming up next, taking you guys up until noon here on a Friday. We are back on the Jay and Trey Podcast.
I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again. But life is one big riddle of the future and what's been. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running into better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running into better times, to 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 better times. Remember I was laughing in all the photos that you took, but now it looks like acting, like we were fiction in a book. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, 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 running into better times. Go, 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 from my emotions I'll go, 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 running into better times, to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times.
달콤하게 난 너의 시선을 느끼고 있어 멈추지
10:23 here on the Jay and Trey Podcast. We'll kind of talk over some more NCAA as round one of the NCAA tournament continues today. We got all of that still coming your way in just a little bit. 2 hours for you guys today, heavily on Wrestling Talk in hour number 2. But I want to kind of change into some other conversations here and talk about and bring to you some NCAA or some NFL news. And I think these are good conversations. Coming up first, I mean, okay, so I guess three news is coming out of the NFL. I mean, we'll get to the Bengals and how the Bengals are doing at the very end, because there's not necessarily a lot of stuff the Bengals are doing, but they're attacking the main focus. And we talked about this numerous of times already on, throughout the week. And I'm excited to get back, to actually just talk about this on the air with you. But I want to start off with the breaking news and the big news coming out of the NFL this morning. And that's Davante Adams being traded for the Las Vegas Raiders. And now there's more to this scenario than what it meets the eye. We were certain that when Aaron Rodgers signed last week, that mega deal extension, 3 years, $150 million contract that he signed. I thought that most likely he was going to, that was going to be influenced to keep Davante Adams. I know reports came up where wherever Davante went, or wherever Rodgers went, Davante went with him, because I know that the conversation was, all right, was Davante Adams going to Denver if Aaron Rodgers went to Denver?
I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is kicking himself in the butt for resigning with Green Bay after hearing this news.
Yeah. I mean, so okay, so Davante Adams, he wants this. He wants more money. Obviously, we know that. And I mean, the first thing I turn on, my my news on sports, right? Your ESPN, you turn on your First Take, whatever the case may be. Davante Adams floods the deal with the whole trade. And do you oppose of this? I mean, this really shakes things up. I mean, it doesn't help the Cincinnati Bengals. I say, I mean, but the Bengals will have to face the Raiders right now. But you look at the AFC West for a second, right? You just had Russell Wilson sign with the Denver Broncos, and we were quick to say, all right, now you have 4 top quarterbacks, and Derek Carr is your least top quarterback in that division, right? Yeah. But now, at the end of the week, the Raiders respond back with signing a really entertaining, a very well, ball handler, and Davante Adams.
And I got to say one thing. I bet Steve from Armchair Booking is over at his house jumping up and down from this breaking news.
I mean, it helps the Raiders out. You already know how impactful and how big the AFC West is going to be this year, especially since Russell Wilson is now going to Denver. I mean, this AFC league so far is turning into something spectacular. A year ago, I would have told you that the NFC West was this division to look out for, right? You had Kyler Murray, you had Matthew Stafford, you had Jimmy Garoppolo, and you had Russell Wilson. Well, the Garoppolo goes down, Wilson goes down, and then the trenches, it goes towards, all right, Kyler Murray and the Rams. Somehow the 49ers come back into play in this postseason. But now you look at how everything over this, and you got to remember, this is the first week of the off season for the NFL. Like the trades and the free agent signings and all that stuff. This is week 1. It's happening. They're not waiting. They're doing it right now. And not only baseball comes back, so you're seeing all this stuff going on in baseball, all the trades, all the signings, right? But you also see everything, for the NFL, because it's their opening week as business as normal. And this is just a crazy week, not only in baseball, football, you have wrestling, which we'll get into later on in hour number 2, NCAA basketball March Madness tournament. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff going on.
So, what did Green Bay get from this massive trade?
Some prospects, I believe.
But they really brought to Green Bay.
Not necessarily. I think some draft picks. A lot of draft picks. I know that there was controversy at times, but I mean, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you really have to be, kicking yourself in the head, because it's, what are you doing? You don't have. It's not like what are you doing? Is that you just got done signing a mega deal with Green Bay. Now you're stuck, even though you have controversy with Green Bay. Mm-hmm. And then you got to sign, then you don't have your star wide receiver. Now, I mean, I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay ain't going to be able to perform any way they can, but you knew the chemistry that Davante and Aaron Rodgers had last year. That was a 1-2 package, just as much as a package as Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow in Cincinnati.
Right. I bet he's over there. Aaron Rodgers is over at Green Bay, just angry as could be.
You know what I do to that? I laugh at that. You know who else is probably a little awkward? You know what else is awkward? Not only Aaron Rodgers have to sit there without his top quarterback. We also have Baker Mayfield being rejected yesterday by the Browns in a trade request. and so I mean, the conversation opens up. Okay, DeShaun Watson's on an open market. He's going to be signing with the team. Earlier this week, it was pronounced that DeShaun Watson was going to that the Browns were interested in DeShaun Watson for a little bit. And so Baker Mayfield comes out with this heartfelt statement saying how much he appreciates the Cleveland Browns. And right already, man, I just tell you, this is a kid. I'm sorry. He's acting like a kid. You wonder why no one, I don't know why the Browns wants to deal with Baker Mayfield. He hasn't grown up. He's done this during the season where if he doesn't get his way, he takes to social media as if he's the bad guy, if he's a victim. And once again, he comes out there he's jumping the gun without everything, let me rewind that. He's jumping the gun. He's jumping the gun to the point where he is saying things before things happen. He was in a sense that he was out of Cleveland already because of DeShaun Watson being opened up. Well, let me tell you what, DeShaun Watson's not going to Cleveland. Baker Mayfield comes out with this statement, this heartfelt statement, as if he's leaving, and then he's now staying, and they're saying that he is the quarterback for the Browns next season. And now there's some sort of awkwardness, in this, between the Browns and Baker Mayfield. And now, what does Baker Mayfield have to do? Well, now he has to force the hand of requesting a trade. Obviously, he's not happy. Baker Mayfield's not happy with the Browns. The Browns at least the Browns fans are not happy with Baker Mayfield. There's some controversy going on. You can't take two bricks and rub them together and expect to get a smooth surface.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's all falling apart in Cleveland already.
And do you think Baker Mayfield will play at his full potential, but he do bad just so he can get?
No, listen, I feel like he's out there to win. I do feel like he is out there to win. He wants to prove that he is a quarterback that everyone can trust on. But there's been so much back and forth of, okay, fans are saying, hey, you're not living up to your potential. We're signing you these big bucks. You got to play. We expected you to come in after what they had to do with Manziel years back. You come in, Baker Mayfield. We expect you to be a great quarterback. And I get it. Listen, Cleveland has been the Browns or Baker Mayfield's been playing with an injury. He had an injury coming into the end of the season, right? He was playing with an injury. I get it. Go take care of yourself. I still think Cleveland is the place for him. I don't know what other team he could possibly play for at this moment. As the quarterbacks are positions tightening up, I don't know what else is left. But listen, for me, if you're Baker Mayfield, I'm telling you one advice, man. From a 26-year-old to whatever old you are, quarterback, you get paid big bucks. I don't. Just shut up and play football. Just shut up and be the quarterback you want to be. And let your all you got to do is show up, play. The Browns ain't asking you to be anything more than a player on the field. You don't have to be this spokesperson. Tell your girlfriend, fiance, wife, whoever she is, to stay off of social media. Stop worrying about what the fans say. Go in there, play the game, earn your way into Cleveland, because Cleveland is one of those teams, just like Pittsburgh, just like New York, just like Cincinnati. They will let you know when you're good or bad. Look at the Lakers. They're getting booed off the court because they sucked so bad.
So if you're getting paid millions of dollars, would you complain? I sure the heck wouldn't.
I wouldn't. You know what? If I got you give me a year of your contract, I'll delete all my social media accounts. I'll just stay. I mean, if I was in your shoes, Baker Mayfield. I mean, just it's not just in Baker Mayfield. It's everybody else. If I was in your shoes, I'd just stay away from social media. Social media, point blank, period. Stay away from it. But I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, if you got signed $20 million, wouldn't you stay away from social media?
I'd shut up and play.
Shut up and play. Don't look at your Twitter account. Don't make a TikTok video. Don't even be on Facebook. Just shut up and play.
Shut
Right?
up and play some football. Get out there and show
especially
us. The Browns swept us last season.
yeah.
Come
And
in,
that's one of
shut
the-
up and play.
That's one of the teams that you want to come
Yeah.
back and shine at. All right,
Yeah.
we still got a lot more football to talk. Coming up in hour number 2, we still got some wrestling conversations to talk about. Kentucky losing, man, I tell you, that's just a damper on college basketball. for
It's
Cincinnati.
embarrassing.
It is. Is that embarrassing as of what happened with the Reds earlier this week and all the trading? I mean, which one's more
It
embarrassing?
might be more embarrassing.
Might be more embarrassing. Cincinnati Xavier's not in there. We'll talk more about that. All right. Let's take a break. Quarterback signed the Cincinnati Bengals signed a backup quarterback to Joe Burrow. We'll tell you who that is coming up next here on the Jay and Trey podcast.
I want to be there and baby dance the night away. I let my head down if I want. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. Let me show you what a good time looks like. To be silly, baby, dance the night away. I'll kick my shoes off if I want. Let yourself be free and maybe you will find that there is more to life than being pretty. Honey, let's just face it. Baby, let your head down, be a little wilder. Baby, kick your shoes off, you don't have to hide it. Baby, let your head down, be a little wilder. Baby, kick your shoes off, don't hide it. I don't fit into your box, beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better, I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box, beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better, I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box, beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better, I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box, beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better, I dare you to be wilder.
$11:39 or 10:40. Sorry, I'm trying to already end the show here, which I think you will probably enjoy. 10:40 here on the Jay and Trey podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. Press on those notifications. Don't miss a single episode as we bring you up until high noon. We're on 5 days a week. All right. So I teased this. I teased the quarterback. It's not a new quarterback. It's a re-signing of a quarterback. I'll get your thoughts here in a second. I want to talk about this last other big thing coming out of the NFL, and that is Matt Ryan with the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know if you heard about Matt Ryan, but the Matt Ryan and the Falcons have agreed to push back his bonus, which is $7.5 million, to push that back. He was supposed to receive that today.
Oh.
They agreed to push that back to Tuesday in an attempt possibly to open up a trade conversation. So if the Falcons could trade him, they don't have to pay that $7.5 million another team would have, and bonus funds. So this puts up to my theory here, because I want to ask you this. Quarterbacks are winding down very quickly, right?
Yeah.
You saw Aaron Rodgers re-sign. Wilson goes to the Broncos. Wentz went to the Commanders. We're seeing Mayfield stuck in Cleveland. DeShaun Watson right now is either open in Atlanta or New Orleans to face the Saints. Now, there's a possibility that the Falcons are trying to get rid of Matt Ryan. Now, in my opinion, if the only reason why Falcons are extending back this date is because if they could try to land a guy like DeShaun Watson to the Falcons, then they want to be able to move Matt Ryan without getting hit a $7.5 million, bonus, right? But if DeShaun Watson decides to sign with the Saints, then they most likely will try to renegotiate a deal. I feel like it's going to come down to whatever DeShaun Watson does this weekend, because I've been told, I've heard that they're supposed to be opening up, he's supposed to be revealing that, a little bit later, right? And now it opens up the conversation where Matt Ryan could possibly go. And one of the, I threw this out there. I was like, all right, can Matt Ryan go to Seattle? Can Matt Ryan go to Pittsburgh? Right? I mean, but now there's even conversations of Matt Ryan going to Indianapolis.
Oh.
You think about a team that's this close, that was this close to the playoffs last season in the Colts. Remember, both the Colts and the Chargers were in the final seeds of the playoffs heading into the final game.
So where was Watson at?
DeShaun Watson was not playing.
Oh, okay.
So if you are the Colts, picking up a person like Matt Ryan does significant things. You think Matt Ryan is in his late 30s. His career's winding down. Obviously, Atlanta's not looking to pick anyone up, right? Anyone good. So if they could get rid of Matt Ryan and he goes to the Colts, who were this close. Like I mentioned, the Colts and the Chargers were the two teams holding those wild card positions going into week 18 or week 17, right? No, week 18. Yeah, week 18, they were holding those positions. It was both the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chargers and the Raiders on the outside looking in, and somehow both the Steelers and the Raiders replaced both of them. I mean, but you would talk about getting over that hump, because the Colts don't have a bad team. They just don't have no one to lead the team. They got rid of Carson Wentz as they think that Carson Wentz was the reason why they couldn't get over that hump. He's the one who cost them the final game of the season. Colts lost because of Carson Wentz in week 18. Let the Pittsburgh Steelers get into that final, to that wild card spot. Throwing in what Matt Ryan, that could change the whole dynamic to the Colts and to that South. You think about a team or division like that South that has no other team in there contending, maybe other than the Tennessee Titans, that wouldn't be a bad choice.
You don't think Matt Ryan would be a good fit on Pittsburgh?
I think Pittsburgh is set up in their own way. They're looking for. They're not going to go pick up. First of all, if a team picks up Matt Ryan, they got to pick up that $7.5 million bonus signing on top of whatever contract they have. So you think Pittsburgh right now, and they're not invested. They're looking. They're looking for a long-term quarterback. They're not looking for that short-term Matt Ryan, and especially at the contract level, you think about it, it's going to probably be about a good solid $14 million, at least to have him on that team for 1 year. So you think about anyone that wants to pick up that contract. Seattle wouldn't pick up that contract. Seattle's in a rebuild mode. They just dropped Russell Wilson. Pittsburgh, they already have Mitchell Trubisky. They have Mason Rudolph. You think that Pittsburgh is probably going to wait for a quarterback year draft for the next 2 to 3 years before they actually figure out, hey, okay, let's go get a franchise quarterback. Unless someone walks across their table. Matt Ryan is 37, 38 years old. He's pretty up there in age. You think about a short-term deal, Colts want to get there now. We just talked about this, getting there now. Colts want to get there now. Matt Ryan fits the bill in Colts. Plus, you think about this, Matt Ryan's been playing inside that dome in Atlanta for his entire career. You think he wants to go to an outside stadium that then he has to deal with the weather, he'll have to deal with the cold in Pittsburgh because you know how cold it is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then you go to Lucas Oil Stadium, and it's indoors.
That totally makes sense. Maybe Indianapolis would be a good team for him. Because he is up in age, like you said. Maybe he won't last too much longer.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me. It makes sense, and I was just listening to this morning, and it makes sense to me. As much as a Matt Ryan fits in Pittsburgh, and I will say that's a big deal for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wants to look at a franchise back. No one right now is coming across the table to be a longevity, long-term 5, 6, 7 year quarterback. And Mason Rudolph, I'm sorry, even a Cincinnati, even a non-Pittsburgh fan doesn't think highly of Mason Rudolph. Even you don't. I mean, you're not even worried if you actually, out of all the quarterbacks, I think you would prefer to have Mason Rudolph as your quarterback standing across the field when you play the Steelers, right?
I mean, I'm dying for that to happen.
Because I mean, it's a no-win situation. But all right, let's we got some to talk about. And I want to bring that up. Let's do that after this quick promotion here. All right. You guys can check out Steve Barber and Dwayne Davis on Armchair Booking Podcast. They're available on YouTube, also on all audio streaming services. I don't know if they have the latest episode out. Let me check right now.
The last one I saw was about Scott Hall.
Okay, so they do actually have something going on. They have the 17 March Wrestling News and Analyst. They did put up one last night. I was actually kind of getting worried about them because I knew how difficult and what they had, how difficult Monday's episode was about the passing of Scott Hall. That was not, that was not just that was just not down their, down their cup of tea. to talk about. It's kind of hard. It's still so hard to break a news like that,
Yeah.
with the passing of Scott Hall. But you could find them out on all audio platforms. So, okay, sorry, I was just reading your comment. Let's talk about some Cincinnati Bengals. I know you're getting excited to talk about that.
Yes.
They, like I said, they knocked out one of, you and I both know one of the key things that the Bengals had to do this offseason, and this offseason only getting underway, but one of the things they had to do was to sign some offensive linemen to help Joe Burrow out desperately, because a winning Super Bowl quarterback cannot, and I repeat, cannot have 9 sacks a game. As a matter of fact, not only he had 9 sacks in the divisional series. Didn't he have 7 sacks in the AFC conference game?
Yeah.
And then didn't he also tie the NFL record at the Super Bowl with the most sacks? Unfortunately, I mean, and yet again, it was still a nail-biting down to the wire game between the Rams and the Bengals. Yeah, it looks incredible, but over time, that's going to hurt Joe Burrow in the long run. You want a franchise quarterback, you need to protect him. And they came out on Monday and Tuesday, and I'll tell you this, I'm very excited about the new entries to the offensive line this year. You got Alex Kappa, right, from the New England Patriots, and then for Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then Ted Karras from the New England Patriots. I believe those are 2. I may have those mixed up with the teams, but I have those are really good linemen for the Bengals. And you talked about this with me, and I keep on trying to convince you that the Bengals have you got rid of CJ Uzuma, right, or Uzama, and you're pretty devastated, and you kind of ticked off a little bit that they got rid of a great tight end.
The reason why I was ticked off of it is because he was the heart and soul of Bengals. Every pre-game speech, you seen him doing that.
Okay.
He always was the one that loved his team. He loved Cincinnati, and he was the heart and soul of the Bengals. And for them to release him or trade him, I think it was trade, was pretty devastating to me. But I totally understand now.
Yeah, listen, I would hate to I mean, I would be honest with you, as a, I don't know what you want to consider me. Am I a Cincinnati Bengals supporter because I live in the local community? Is that what you want to call me?
Yes.
Because, I mean, we know that my team is the Rams. Obviously, that's given. My team's the Padres. But because we're now recovering and we're focusing more on local sports like the Reds, the Bengals, the Bearcats, so on, I don't want you to say or think I'm a bandwagon saying that I'm a fan. I do support them. It's a local team, but I was even devastated to see that Uzama left, and out of all teams to the Jets, really, Uzama and Flacco. I mean, I feel like this is just a terrible time. Let me put it that way. But overall, though, I mean, and I explained this to you. It's Uzama. You got to give up you got to give up somebody. You can't re-sign somebody, right? Would you rather give up to get 2 offensive linemen that you desperately need? Would you give up Jamar Chase?
No.
Would you give up Tyler Boyd?
No.
Would you give up Higgins and Mixon in a combination, which takes the running game out of you, for these 2 offensive linemen?
Absolutely not.
And so I asked you, who would you get rid of out of all the receivers, out of all the offensive players? If you had to get rid of somebody, who would you get rid of for these 2 linemen? Uzama fits the bill.
And my question is, why do they have to get rid of an offensive player? Why can't they get rid of a
Because
defensive
they
player?
also need defensive players. And it wasn't like they didn't want to, but the contract for Uzama, after knowing what type of year he had, is going to be too much to add. You add these two guys who are going to probably be a combination of what, 10, $15 million? I don't know the exact numbers, but then you want to tackle on another tight end that, although he has a heart and soul, I'd rather pay that money. You can't pay a tight end the same contract as a slot receiver. It just doesn't work that way. You got to even out that balance caps. They already still have to add on and help their defense, because that was the second thing that the Bengals had to do this offseason, and that they're starting to work on it. I see reports. I don't know. I don't have the details on the reports. I'll have to get you that over the weekend, but they made some defensive transitions, right?
I know they re-signed Eli Apple for a 1-year contract.
Yes. I know Chad. I literally just, because I typed this up 12 hours ago. Sports Illustrated. Leo Collins was recruited by the Chad Ochocinco.
Oh.
I don't know who the hell Leo Collins is, but Sports Illustrated says Leo Collins is in Cincinnati. Will Bengals sign the veteran right tackle? Okay, so I think he's Leo Collins is a right tackle former right tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. So I mean, you'll go sign him, and you're good to go. Your lineman's great to go, right? Let me go. Just while we have, I want to be able to give it to you today, maybe later on in the program. But I mean, you have to have to balance that stuff out.
So signing these two players, it's going to hold off.
Well, you have you have Ted Karras, you have Alex Kappa, and if you could get Leo Collins, 3 really good linemen on top of what you already have, maybe minus 1 or 2. Yeah, because if one of these guys go down, it wasn't like these current guys were terrible. 1, they had less inexperience, and 2, they're not your B or A graded offensive line. So if you get 2, 3 guys, now you're looking like a lineman like the Buccaneers.
So you're saying signing these 3 people, and plus what the Bengals had, are gonna keep great defenses like Kansas City.
Yeah.
Defensives like
Pittsburgh.
Like you said, Pittsburgh. Teams like Tennessee.
What you're going to see is a decrease in sacks. Yes.
I'm going to hold you to that.
All right, hold me to that. I mean, listen, unless something catastrophically goes wrong where these guys get either injured, like you can't hold me against if they get injured.
Right.
Because it happens. But if they just catastrophically can't block, and that, this is like another episode, of NFL version of Space Jam, where some aliens take the talent away from them.
You got put the laughing.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm talking about, though. If they sit here and they miraculously just can't play, hold it against me. I mean, but overall, I mean, I'm telling you, this is a direction. Plus, if you think about this, I'll leave you off with this. They could always go re-sign a tight end off the free agent market for $2, $3, $4 million. They wouldn't have to pay as much as what they would have to pay for Uzama.
So if the Bengals don't cut half of them stacks down, I'm holding you against it.
That's the deal. That's the deal. All right, hour number 2 coming up here. Trey has something to share with us. Ooh. All right, that's coming up your way next here on the Jay and Trey podcast. All right, we don't have any guests on our show, but all guests on our show is in thanks to StreamYard.com. StreamYard, create your podcast, YouTube videos, virtual business meeting is an interview. StreamYard.com, go try out their free version today. All right. You know, I forgot about talking about that little fake tease that I had with the new quarterback. And it's nothing big. They just re-signed Brandon Allen.
Yes, it is.
Quarterback. I mean, not a bad. I don't know. I mean, first of all, they're comfortable with Joe Burrow. They're confident, and I believe that they're comfortable with Brandon Allen as their backup quarterback. Now, listen, he could grow. I mean, the last time we really saw Brandon Allen was when Joe Burrow got hurt. How new was Brandon Allen and to the team first year, I believe, right? So that was back in 2020, and so. I mean, we could see. I don't know. I'm just saying we couldn't see. You know, I don't think Joe Burrow's going down, but I could see an improvement from Brandon Allen. You don't want to spend too much money on a backup quarterback if you already got a franchise quarterback,
right?
So and plus we talked to you about the trade. We talked to you about the sacks, right?
Yeah.
If the sacks go from 8 to 4, I win, and you don't need the pressure is off of Joe Burrow. The injuries off Joe Burrow, and then that way he could play. You don't really need a backup quarterback. So they are taking a risk, but I think they're taking a good risk.
Right, but if signing these 3 people don't do nothing and they hurt Joe Burrow, then we're stuck with him.
Okay. I mean, they could always go out and sign a free agent. I know that there's always a quarterback out. Go sign Colin Kaepernick.
Sign Watson for the backup.
Oh gosh.
No what?
Right, well,
sign Matt Ryan for the backup.
I say, like I said, I mean, there's always Colin Kaepernick out there. I'm just saying that I don't think you're going to have anybody. You don't really need someone that big. I really do. I'm confident in these 3 guys. If they could pick up that Leo Collins guy from Dallas, I really do believe that they would have something good on their hands, at least to start off with. I mean, like I said, I don't know about injuries. I know linemen get injured more than anyone else. So, these poor guys, these poor guys. But all right, moving forward, talking about NCAA basketball. Last weekend, you shared some news about the NCAA, about your Special Olympics basketball tournament. Now, you weren't able to head down to Louisville to join them, unfortunately, over the weekend. But some great news came out under the way.
All right, then we actually won the state championship. We won. We actually had 2 games. First game we won 18-8. Pretty good game. Second game we won in a very, very close game, 24-23. And we walked away with the championship, 5th championship. And I have won 4 out of 5. So for the team to have 5 championships is pretty big. And normally this never happens. I'm actually the team manager, and this never happens. And I got a phone. I didn't get a phone call. I got a text message from one of my teammates, and they told me to come over. I was actually in the area. I was over at my grandma's picking up some stuff, and I stopped by, and he gave me this, which is our state championship. I'll put it up closer so you can see.
Now your
With
fingers in
it,
the way.
right. How's that? Has the logo of the
Hold on, the
Special
glare is
Olympics.
there. Move it back over to the other side. The glare was there. No, that's the up closer, up closer, up closer. All right, we'll take a picture and put it on Facebook. How about that?
So that is the actual the back, but we'll get a picture,
Okay,
and this is the other side.
awesome.
We'll get a picture and put it up. But
Should
yeah,
put it up on like my wall back here. I have medals. You know, I got my wrestling medals up here too. So I mean, just put it up on the wall behind you, let people see it.
I should put it like right here.
No, other side, other side. That'd be perfect. Yeah. But congratulations. That's a really good deal. Yeah. I mean, yeah, for you to be able to get one too. I mean, you know, it was a really good season. A lot of things that shocked us throughout your season, and now you're kind of just waiting for bowling for you.
Definitely. I'm glad I actually got you to come out and
And you and I need to go bowling.
Yeah. I need to take you out and into my world and beat you.
Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. Let me go get some let me go get my gear. And I'll come whoop your ass. All right. I'll open a can of whoop ass on you, okay?
And when you gonna beat Stone Cold?
Let's go. I'll wear my Austin 316 shirt too. Raise hell and leave. I'll raise some hell and then I'll just leave.
I mean, I'm definitely ready. I'm ready for the challenge, but one thing you need to know is I'm resilient. I will not stop until I beat you.
You're gonna roll me over. Oh my goodness.
I'm that type of person. You beat me, I will not stop until I beat you.
I won't be. I'll beat you. Okay, but at what point if I beat you by how many points, will you just give up?
I don't care how many games. I don't care how.
So
many
do I have to let you win the first game so then I can whoop your ass every time?
I know.
No.
I don't care how many years. I don't care how many months, how many decades. I will beat you at the end of the day.
Okay. All right. You keep on dreaming that dream. I'll let you win the first game and then I can beat you. You'll be good to go.
Doesn't happen that way.
All right, moving forward. I know this is something that's probably a little bit more drilling on this show. NCAA basketball tournament is underway. First rounds happened yesterday. Take a look at some of the games that happened. Michigan beat Colorado State, kind of typical. Boise State lost to Memphis, and so that's another Mountain West out of the division. San Diego State lost to Creighton, which was a little surprising as well. Man, Kansas beat Texas Southern. I'm just kind of scrolling through some of these losses here. UCLA won. New Mexico State defeated Connecticut 70-63, which was impressive. Richmond beat Iowa 67-63. Tennessee advances, Baylor advances. I mean, not really nothing to get too hyped about, but the big game obviously is St. Peter's beating Kentucky 85-79 in overtime.
Embarrassing.
Well, I mean, you know what's embarrassing? You got, I think it's Taylor or Trevor Steele, the head coach for Xavier. He had to resign, so he stepped out of the way. Good morning, Stupefy Gaming. Yes, UK got knocked out. I know, right? He's late to the party. Just talked about some NFL.
Yeah, you missed it. There's absolutely no news about the Ravens.
um, now we're talking about some college basketball. Yeah, UK did lose last night. It's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate because for the first, I know that basketball. Listen, when all sports are doing well, Cincinnati's happy. All right, you got football, you got baseball doing well. Not doing so well. Basketball, Cincinnati and Xavier didn't come down to a win. There's just a lot of things that are not honestly happening in the long run that we need to have, that should be happening for Cincinnati. And Kentucky's just another example of a team in Cincinnati that's not doing well. And it's a little damper to our, week, honestly, because because we look into we look forward to talking positive about these sports. There's a lot of Bengals positivity that we could talk about. There's we could try to make good out of Reds after we hear about some of the news that they acquired this week. UK at least making it to the tournament, but from my understanding, from what I hear, Trey, and correct me if I'm wrong, it is not normal for Kentucky, Cincinnati, Xavier, teams like that not to do well in these tournaments.
I'm used to Kentucky doing all right. The last time I actually sat down and watched a bunch of UK games was when they were actually they went undefeated in a bunch of games with Devin Booker on the team and Cauley Stein. That's been quite a few years. But after that, I've noticed the team started phasing out and wasn't very good.
I've been told it's been about a 3, maybe 4 year stretch where they haven't. All three of these teams have not really been utilized or performed at their potential, full potential here, which is kind of devastating. But you know what? The NCAA basketball season moves on. We still follow the season. All right. As round 1 comes to an end today, we still have a handful of games. So I'm just going to kind of go over these games. Let me know any games that you are interested in, in the matchups. Okay.
Yep.
So coming up, it's kicking things off today. Loyola Chicago taking on Ohio State. That's on CBS. Already told you that Pittsburgh will any games played in Pittsburgh today will be on CBS. Any games played in Greensville, South Carolina will be on True TV. All right. Any games played in in San Diego will be on TNT, and any games played in Milwaukee will be on TBS. Okay, so just note that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Loyola Chicago takes on Ohio State. Jackson State takes on Auburn. Montana takes on Texas Tech. Yale takes on Purdue. That's the first set of games. Delaware takes on Villanova at 2:45. Miami, Florida takes on USC Trojans. Notre Dame takes on Alabama. Notre Dame, after being Rutgers, takes after being Rutgers in that first 4 earlier this week. They play Alabama. Virginia Tech takes on Texas. Chattanooga takes on Illinois. CS Fullerton takes on Duke. Iowa State takes on LSU. Wright State takes on Arizona. UAB takes on Houston. Davidson and Michigan at 9:40. Colgate and Wisconsin at 9:50. 9:57, the last game of round 1, TCU taking on Seton Hall. Any games that pop to your mind?
Ohio State, I gotta watch out for because Courtney's family is actually an Ohio State fan.
Okay.
And my family is actually in Michigan. So those are two teams that I gotta watch out for.
So you're looking out for Ohio State. That's the first game that kicks off here at noon. So are you guys watching the game at noon? It's on CBS.
I'm probably not gonna watch it because I'm leaving right after here.
Of course you are.
I am.
And then Michigan, you know what?
Michigan State.
That's Michigan State, not Michigan. Michigan State plays tonight at 9:40 at
Right.
the just kind of right after right when SmackDown's about to end. So maybe you'll catch the second half of
It's
the
not
game.
Michigan State. I'm actually was it Michigan Wolverines?
Yeah, Michigan played yesterday
Yeah.
and they beat Colorado State. That was the first game of the tournament. So, all right. So just a kind of an update here. I'm kind of following TCU on this one today. I want to see what they're doing. They're taking on Sinton Hall at 9 at the last game of the night. So hopefully be able to come home and watch that. Arizona taking on Wright State. That should be an easy win. Number 1 versus number 16. That's at 7:30. Duke is another good game to follow, but they're taking on CS Fullerton. I don't think that they should have a problem playing that one. I know the game that I'm going to be really interested in is seeing Notre Dame takes on Alabama. Okay.
Yes.
I think these middle ones from 3:10 to 4:30, Miami, Florida taking on USC, Notre Dame, Alabama, Virginia Tech, and Texas. Those are going to be good games. I
Arizona might be a good game too.
Arizona's taking on Wright State, but they're not really. I don't know. Wright State's is number 16. So, although Arizona's a game to watch, I just don't think it's going to be a good game.
Back when I was actually watching it,
yeah,
it was Arizona, Alabama.
Yeah.
What's some other ones that I had to look for? I'm looking back down here. Duke was a good one that we were looking out for.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm still looking out for these teams, but in the first round, number 2 taking on number 15. Now, yeah, it's college basketball. Anything can happen.
Right.
But I mean, but yet again, though, you're like, okay, so whoever, but Arizona's taking on Wright State. Do you really think that's a matchup in your opinion?
I mean, we wasn't expecting UK to lose.
You're right. I mean, I get it. I mean, every game's a good game, but I'm just talking about an interest level. 2 teams that really show a lot of interest in my eyes that I want to be, hey, I need to sit down and watch this game. I could kind of sit on the back burner of Arizona and say, okay, let me just follow it on CBSSports.com, which, by the way, that's where we're getting all of this information from, right? So I could kind of just sit down, kind of look on my phone. All right, that's what's going on with Arizona. Now, if I'm paying attention and it's a close game with 2 minutes to go, I'm turning it to that channel. Yeah, but I mean, if you're having to go home and you put on a game right now, hey, I got to watch these games. The 3 close games, in my opinion, is the 10-7 USC and Miami, Florida, because USC, I mean, 26-7 takes on 23-10. Notre Dame, who just won their way in, how will they're 23-10 on the season, but how well are they going to do against a mediocre 19-13 in Alabama? They're going to have to pull off some big upsets. Virginia Tech and Texas, that's going to be a close game. So, yeah, I'm going to pay attention to teams like LSU, Michigan State, Arizona, TCU, of course. But those 3 middle games right there that I just mentioned, those are the games that I think really okay, let me make sure I have that on my TV when, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm laughing at Stump-a-Pie Gaming because I could see that happening.
You said Ohio State and Texas are winning today. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Playing basketball all my life, when they took the game into overtime with UK, I was about to throw mine. All right.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me because the dude, I have seen him throw his Xbox out the freaking windows, so it doesn't surprise me.
Something else comes to mind, but I can't say that out here on the air. Let's cut to break. Let's talk some wrestling when we get back.
I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again, but life is one big riddle of the future and what's been. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, running into better times. Go, from my emotions I'll go, running into better times, to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times. Better times, to better times, to better times. Remember I was laughing in all the photos that you took, but now it looks like acting, like we were fiction in a book. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it, I gotta go, running into better times. Go, from my emotions I'll go, running into better times, to better times, to better times, to better times, to better times.
Might as well live with it. Yeah. 10 toes down, I'ma ride with the gang. My whole life I've been doing my thing. Get that money, ain't no thing. Everything I do for the gang. 10 toes down, I'ma ride with the gang.
Oh gosh, what are you doing?
All that's gonna take is one bad boom, though.
Oh my goodness. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yep.
The way I see it, you're not good to go at all.
Literally, all I can hear that's going in my brain is picturing him getting mad at Call of Duty and opening his window and tossing his Xbox out the window.
I can't comment. I can't because I want to say something I can't say. You know what I want to say. All right. Well, NCAA basketball kicks on today. We also have Major League Baseball spring training, some more NBA around the league, NHL also. So still a world weekend impact of sports. We have Saturday and Sunday. We'll be back from 10 p.m. to midnight. So we'll give you the final updates of all that stuff. All right. I think back end of the show, do some wrestling talk about some tag team divisions across the world of wrestling so far as we lead up and approach Friday Night SmackDown tonight. We still have yet to see a confirmation of what the plan is for the Usos defending the SmackDown tag team titles, and hopefully we get an idea. I'm assuming, and I'm kind of hoping the Viking Raiders again. Now, I'm very disappointed in in how the storylines progressed. I really wanted, we put this out there. I put this out there a couple months ago, and so far, hey, we're finally starting to see some things happen over time. But
yeah,
so the Viking Raiders and Brock Lesnar can't team up against the Bloodline and face each other at some sort of time and frame, time sort. I mean, I still feel like that was a perfect match leading up until WrestleMania, maybe even like at a Madison Square Garden event. I mean, that would have been like a great main event. But yet again, we're still not seeing that. And I don't really know. So let's start off with this. That's the issue itself for SmackDown.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really no other tag team divisions on SmackDown that's worthy enough for WrestleMania. Do you sit out the Usos at WrestleMania?
I mean, I think the Usos need to be at WrestleMania. I'm not really into the Viking Raiders going against the Usos again.
Well, we've
But
already seen that. I think that's why it's a downgrade. Now, if you haven't seen that before, then and you knew that things were being changed, but we're just seeing a vague tag team match between them two. There's nothing really improving or pushing that story forward. I feel like we're at a stalemate between the Viking Raiders and the Usos.
I mean, there's one other team that I know on SmackDown, but
And who's that?
they don't deserve a tag team title match.
And who's that?
It's a team with Angel Garza
And Humberto Carrillo?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, realistically, because we know Big E's out for an extensive period of time, so it's not like you could have the New Day once again take on the Usos at WrestleMania, which would always be a great match to see. I mean, okay, do you need it? I mean, do you realistically need to see every title on the line at WrestleMania? Or could you see the Usos make an appearance somewhere else, like maybe once again getting involved in Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at Mania? I mean, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns hasn't done anything to kind of stimulate, like, okay, first blood match, which would have loved to see, or even a Hell in a Cell like I've been proposing. I really feel the storyline between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar needs to be concluded, at least this segment needs to be concluded inside a Hell in a Cell, or even Steel Cage. I mean, that's my opinion.
So what if at Mania we saw the Usos interfere?
Okay.
Viking Raiders come out, get Usos away, and then this leads up to
a backlash.
That match at Backlash.
Okay. I'll be okay with that. At this point, there's no reason for the Viking Raiders to get involved with Brock Lesnar. I really wanted to see Brock Lesnar come out and save the Viking Raiders in an attempt to attack and ambush the Usos, right? Costing them the titles, right? Because Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns is focusing on Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman. That's that storyline. They're keeping it separate with the Usos. The Usos, other than getting involved and coming to the aid of Roman Reigns, they're not really being told in this story as of right now. So it just wouldn't make sense for the Viking Raiders to get involved. I would, if it was me booking it, I would have saw something like Viking Raiders and the Usos, Roman Reigns cost Viking Raiders a match, or Brock Lesnar is coming out and taking out the Usos, in hey, I need to take these guys out before I get to Roman at Mania so that they don't come at Mania. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then you're kind of losing the spectacular entrance or the finale of WrestleMania Night 2. Wouldn't that damper a little bit if you get the Viking Raiders involved with this match?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a little bit, in my opinion, it would be. But, and then it also ruins the rumor talk. And I know these are rumor talks, but, a possible ending. We talk about the endings to WrestleMania. Could you see The Rock end WrestleMania and maybe confront Roman Reigns after the match?
I have definitely heard that rumor, and that would be awesome because that would be a year worth of story, just like the year story with The Rock and John Cena.
You think about how many tickets they're selling to this year's WrestleMania. Not a lot. Let's face it, not a lot. All right. 60,000 of them is not a lot for both nights. But you throw in this, okay, if we could almost guarantee this match happening next year at LA, a year in the making, yeah, I would definitely, start buying tickets. I will save up to buy tickets to that, event. You know what I'm saying?
So Roman Reigns has a history of winning a match, and after the match, somebody comes out and confronts him.
Right.
And I don't think WrestleMania is going to be any different.
No.
I am fully expecting.
It has to be bigger than what it was last time. And what it was last time was Brock Lesnar. Now or even Goldberg. Now it has to be The Rock. It only makes sense if it's going to happen.
I mean, it went from John Cena
Mm-hmm.
to Brock Lesnar to Goldberg. Now it needs to be The Rock.
What happens if Brock Lesnar wins and The Rock still somehow shows up? Could happen, maybe.
It still could happen.
Doesn't that kind of tamper your Viking Raiders and Brock taking on the Bloodline at WrestleMania Backlash looking forward?
Yes.
That's going to be a lot of stuff to kind of digest or, during this whole segment. But it's an open conversation. But I don't know if we need to see the Usos at WrestleMania in a match. There's no one, if there's no one worthy enough, you don't need to make that happen.
No, to be honest, I think.
I know you are Stumpify Gaming.
What was I going to say?
To be honest, you know something.
Oh, so to be honest, I would rather have the Usos than RK Bro. To be perfectly honest.
Well, let's go. Let's jump over to the RK Bro side of things because RK Bro comes out on Monday, and we talk about the tag team divisions, and the Street Profits come out and they say, "All right, hey, listen, we beat you a couple weeks ago. We should be the first people in line." Well, here's my first problem with that: is that you're right. The Street Profits deserve a WrestleMania match. The fact that they haven't been incorporated into a WrestleMania, into a segment or a storyline the last couple of weeks has been fumigating. All right. But what about Alpha Academy? They've been carrying the tag team Raw titles for the last, 2 months since the Rumble. And don't they deserve also that opportunity as well? I mean, what a big slap in the face to Chad Gable and Otis if they don't even get the opportunity to even have a match. And even at the case, do you want to see a tag team? Would you want to see, this looks like a great match, Orton and Matt Riddle taking on the Street Profits, right? But would you really want to see Alpha Academy put into this match and make it a triple threat? I'm not down for that.
I mean, I'm down for it, actually.
Okay.
The only reason why I'm down for it is because of that amazing triple threat tag team match that happened 2 weeks ago.
That's fair enough. I'm not completely sold on this match. Well, I'm sold on these two teams. I'm not sold on Alpha Academy joining this match.
No, Alpha Academy definitely deserves the rematch, and they definitely need to be next in line, not them. Right.
I mean, it should have been Alpha Academy coming out, challenging them to a title, to a number one contender spot last week, or even this coming up week. And then if they find a way to incorporate themselves in, all right, that's fine. Once again, though, we still see no movement on Raw. We'll get into that more this weekend because Raw did not move forward at all towards WrestleMania. No. As a matter of fact, it feels like they took 2 steps back. We're talking about tag team divisions here on the Jay and Trey podcast. And, I want to bring up this story too, because, you take a look over at NXT 2.0. I don't know if you watch NXT 2.0, but now the Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio is going over there to have a feud with Legado del Fantasma. Or, yeah.
I just don't get it.
What it is Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio don't have a match they do have a match for WrestleMania. I've forgotten. But The Miz was also doing The Miz TV on NXT. So what they're
Right.
trying to do, and this is the only way I could speculate, is they're trying to have or incorporate NXT, trying to promote Stand and Deliver by having some matches towards that. Now, is the Miz? Now, here's my question to you, because I don't know what night. I want to say night 1, but they could be on night 2. Is Logan Paul and the Miz taking on the Mysterios night 2?
I believe that is night.
1.
I heard it was night 1.
Okay, so but if it was night 2, could you see Dominic and Rey Mysterio also face the team of Legado del Fantasma on night 1, or at Stand and Deliver, which is, by the way, at noon, night 1, April 2nd at noon for NXT Stand and Deliver. You know what I'm saying? So kind of have them, and it's a way to kind of promote NXT Stand and Deliver.
See me, if I'm gonna have a WrestleMania match, especially with Logan Paul in there,
Right.
yeah, you know, you're spending money for Logan Paul, and you're risking Rey Mysterio, because he has gotten injured a lot lately, getting injured.
Yeah, that is
So
true.
so you're risking a WrestleMania match.
But realistically, don't we see that happen also every time? I mean, because don't they have house shows over the weekend and then they show up on Raw and do the same thing?
Right, but I don't think house shows are very
aggressive.
They
got their moments, I believe, still.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a last break and then we'll come back and wrap things up. The Hardy Boys are back in action. And we're just going to get you guys ready for SmackDown as well, right here on the Jane Trey podcast.
I want to be there and baby dance the night away. I let my head down if I want. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder. Let me show you what a good time looks like. To be silly, baby, dance the night away. I'll kick my shoes off if I want. Let yourself be free and maybe you will find that there is more to life than being pretty. Honey, let's just face it. Baby, let your head down, be a little wilder. Baby, kick your shoes off, you don't have to hide it. Baby, let your head down, be a little wilder. Baby, kick your shoes off, don't hide it. I don't fit into your box, beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better, I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box, beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better, I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box, beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better, I dare you to be wilder. I don't fit into your box, beauty queens without no flaws. You can do better, I dare you to be wilder.
You... No. All right, welcome back, you guys, on 11:42, taking up until noon. right here on the Jay and Trey podcast. Here on a beautiful Friday. Is that serious? Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
You gotta. I'm sorry. Stupidity.
So how about
Which
how
one?
about
All right, which one? The good or the bad one?
the bad one?
How much
So-
does that cost to repair and fix it? I mean, aren't you gonna be smart? You know what? Just throw it out the window. Throw it out the window. Right.
So how about this? After we go off air, how about we invite him to the StreamYard and he could tell you how it happened because I'm interested in knowing
All right.
why this happened.
Send them the link after the show. Oh my goodness. Gosh. We're just having fun here. I sure hope you do. Just I mean, if it's broken, just toss it out the window. I'm saving that one. All right, hey, we're talking about some wrestling here. We got to finish up.
Oh shoot! You sent me a video.
Oh no! Oh no! Send it to my messenger. Send it to my messenger. We're gonna play it. Send it to my messenger.
Okay, I'm getting ready to send it to you.
All right. While we wait on that, all right. So, listen. That's an interesting thought of what we're gonna do for the tag team division. And how, they're kind of spreading away. I feel like a lot of these guys, like the Miz, Dolph Ziggler, they're all doing that so that they can. Oh no! You got to be kidding me. You want to play the entire thing?
Yes.
All right. So I'll get that load up, but let's talk about this while we are doing, while we finish talking about this subject.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just transfer in. Coming up next year, we'll talk about some Jeff Hardy returning here on the Jay and Trey podcast. All right. So we'll play the video here in just a moment. I want to talk a little bit about you want to play the video now?
We can.
All right,
You're
let's do
gonna
that
die.
now. We will save this. So here's a video. Our good friend Stupefy Gaming. Do we want to provide some background content? Yeah, let's provide some background content. So our good friend Stupefy Gaming has he has a what is it called? What do they call it? What's the
A
proper
video.
word?
Oh,
We have a video. What do they call it?
a prosthetic leg.
A prosthetic leg. All right. And he he's kind of getting pissed off about certain things, and so he sent us a video just now of him. I'm just gonna play straight from Facebook of him kind of getting frustrated and breaking his leg, at least according to what Trey told me. I will warn you guys, viewers' discretion is advised. There is some cussing words played into this, so but let's watch this 22-second video.
Motherfucking bitch. Come on. What the fuck? I'm taking this shit. Motherfucking bitch.
Let's watch it again. Oh my goodness.
Come on.
Oh no.
What the fuck? I'm taking this shit.
No. Wait, hold on. Did you kick your leg? With your amputated leg? Did you kick your leg? Was that what it is? Or Hold on,
Yes.
did he kick a water bottle? What was that? Is that like a toy gun? I mean, what was that?
He kicked his Xbox controller.
Oh, he kicked his Xbox with his prosthetic leg.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't see that, and it's on TikTok too.
Yes.
Oh, and
Motherfucker.
he lost his leg too. It came off with him.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! All right.
Bitch.
Oh my goodness! Oh, I didn't know at first what exactly what was happening.
So he's actually playing Call of Duty and he got mad.
Bye! I'm taking this shit. Motherfucking dick.
All right. Thank you, Jared. Hey,
Oh my god, I'm
hold on.
crying
So
over
he
here.
kicked his he kicked his controller into his neighbor's yard. That's what he kicked. He kicked his controller, not his Xbox. Thank goodness, because you could replace a controller. You don't. I don't know how
I
much.
didn't say Xbox controller. I thought I did.
No, you just said Xbox. I thought he
Oh.
actually took his Xbox and kicked it.
He needs
He punted. Hey, go sign him up for the NFL. He'll be the next NFL punter. He'll be better. He'll be better than Pat McAfee. Thank you, Stumpify Gaming for providing that video. You got the money. How's the controller? Is the controller good? Is the controller good? I want to know that. Poor controller.
Don't catch me with my Xbox today.
Oh my goodness.
Come on. Bye! I'm taking this shit.
All right, I think my day's done here.
It's in
Oh my goodness!
pieces.
Oh my goodness! How's the leg?
Dang.
Just compare the leg to the if you kicked it with his other leg. Yeah, thank you, Stumpify Gaming. Really well. I enjoy this. Pretty laggy. I bet. Listen, we're laughing, so maybe our show last 10 minutes is laggy.
Yep.
Um,
It
There we
still cracks me up.
all right. The Hardy Boys unite one in AEW now. For a moment, I don't even know if you really expected them to ever be back together. Now, from my understanding, the resources had me say that, or had the fact that the Hardy Boys were supposed to make that final run in WWE.
Exactly.
They were supposed to walk off into the sunset in WWE. And that never happened because within less than a year, they were separated. Wednesday, they had a match against Private Party, I believe, in tag team action. And they looked really well. And let me ask you, I want to ask you this question here. I'm just going to pull this because I can't read it. So I believe, and this is just me, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy should only, especially Jeff Hardy, should only be tag teaming from now on, here on out.
I mean, I'm sure there's some people he wants to face 1-on-1.
I get that.
And I don't think AEW should stop him from doing it. especially if this is his last
Right.
run. No, if I was in his situation, I would be wanting to face CM Punk again.
Okay.
They had that big feud back a while ago.
Yeah, back in what 2010, I believe.
Yeah.
But and listen, I get that. I just throw out here when you sorry. I'm just throwing it out there. It needs to be selective. Like if they have this creative idea, I hope, and I'm pretty confident that AEW is going to allow Jeff Hardy and the Hardy Boys to be creative in AEW. And listen, there's endless amount of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
But you also need. I'm just concerned because when Jeff Hardy was in the WWE, and maybe he wasn't that motivated to be in matches, and when maybe you found a new motivation AEW, but he looked like he was on a different level. Like, yeah, he could still go, but he looked like he was in a tremendous amount of pain. I just don't want to see him in that much pain. When he teamed up with the Hardy Boys back on Tuesday, he looks like a whole new Jeff Hardy, like the days of old almost.
Right. I mean, there was a botch or two,
Right.
but it happens when you're nervous, which he did say he was very nervous because it was new to him.
The level of AEW talent is up here. This is the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Hardy has to go up to that bar, especially when you're dealing with even if a private party. Now you got it's kind of like you're going back to TNA, where you had to put on great matches. The expectation level, they're not going to put up with zero tolerance. The fans won't tolerate zero, when you're a mediocre performance.
Right.
I mean, there was nothing mediocre about the steel cage match on Wednesday.
No, that was fun.
Yet again, already one of the matches set for match of the year.
Yeah. And you guys told me you and Jake told me how last year the two did a great match again.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. What was it? Last year's
at St. Patrick's Day Slam. It was just a one-on-one match, I believe.
Yeah.
Still
and you
for
guys
the title.
said it was awesome.
Now I heard that. And I hear that. I mean, I started listening to Busted Open podcast. Dave LaGreca said that it was a match of the year in his books. I think Sports Illustrated also agreed. And I went back and watched it. I just wish I would have been there live. And I got it. That's the reason why. That's the only reason why. That's the only thing so far I've watched Dynamite for was for that cage match. I didn't even watch the tag team match with the Hardy Boys in Private Party. Now, that's why I'm not really getting too deep into it. I heard that he looked pretty good. I know that there was some botches, but I mean, he looked rejuvenated. I say that.
Yes.
I think that's the appropriate term. And so when you look rejuvenated, I can almost tell you that there is an interest of things that they could do. I'm just worried about if he breaks off into a singles competitiveness, that's when things are going to look astray. Now, if he goes work with a guy like CM Punk, then the chemistry that they've already had. But if you gotta go, I mean, and I'm pretty sure you could trust MJF, of course, Adam Page, Adam Cole, of course, I see that. But if you're gonna go work with some of these younger guys, I just don't know how well they could work one-on-one with Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
And look at Darby Allin. Darby Allin's up here in fast speed, high going, intensity. Jeff Hardy is kind of almost down here.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, listen, time does catch up with the body. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
It's like Sting. Everyone has to know with Sting, you have to diet down a notch.
No, I've only been watching AEW since probably the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And for Jeff and Matt to be on there are so many exciting tag teams that they could be facing. The Young Bucks, Red Dragon, Jungle Boy and what's his name? I can't even say it.
Luchasaurus, Jurassic Express. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
What
was it?
about
Andrade's people.
Moxley and
Yeah.
Danielson? I mean, right? Listen. When the Hardys returned back to the WWE, that was a thrill shocker. I was on the edge of my seat. I was saying holy shit the entire time. But now when he makes his appearance with AEW, knowing with Matt Hardy and knowing the story and how openly they are, there's a whole new side of me. It's like, dude, this is like a fifth wall being brought down. This is like if he's back in his early days. So I'm excited to see Jeff Hardy and what he could do in AEW.
I also forgot FTR.
FTR.
Yes.
I don't think the Briscoes will be in AEW, but if that ever does come around, that would be something to watch out for. Definitely, right?
I just think this is going to be a great last run for them.
The run that they should have had in WWE, they're going to have it here. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. How long do you think it goes, though?
I mean, I honestly don't know how long the contracts are, but I think Jeff's gonna go until he no longer is having fun.
Okay. Well, that's Matt Hardy's going as long as Jeff's going. I think that once Jeff Hardy's done, Matt Hardy's going to be done too, because that's why he just re-signed that contract.
Right.
But it's going to be a fun ride. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in AEW with the Hardy Boys. I'm going to be excited with the contract. If you think about this, one contract can be, let's say it's a year, 2 years. You got 2 years to tell your story.
Right.
Better start telling it. They're not going to waste no time, because you just don't know if they're still going to continue with another contract afterwards.
Right.
So far, I'm excited.
I'm definitely excited for it.
Well, wait. We're working up on the weekend here. Another great episode. Thank you. Nama's Day. All right. Thank you. Hey, appreciate your entertainment with you once again, Simplified Gaming. Tune us in tomorrow at 10 p.m. For another 2-hour episode. We'll bring some more spring training baseball back. Round 2 begins tomorrow. What games are advancing and much more coming your way. Thank you, guys. Have yourself a wonderful Friday. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the Jay and Trey podcast.
Mm.